Dear Starseed from Gaia, this love is not arriving gently. It is breaking through the walls you built around your heart at the most critical moment of your life. And the timing is not accidental. I am Ophelia, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and I am delivering this transmission directly from the Reunion Guides, who have been watching over your sacred journey through every moment of silence, longing, and quiet surrender. They set me to find you here in this exact breath because what is moving toward you now cannot wait another cycle. Your twin flame, the one your soul has never stopped recognizing, is being called back into alignment with you, not through force, but through the healing that has already been happening inside you, even when you could not feel it. By the end of this transmission, you will understand exactly how to navigate twin flame separation and align with divine union in a way that finally makes sense to your heart, not just your mind. But here is the first revelation. The separation you have been living inside was never a punishment. It was a preparation. Every moment of distance between you and your twin flame has been building the sacred foundation that real union requires. The Reunion Guides want you to hear this clearly. You are not abandoned. You are being readied. You did not find this transmission by chance. Your heart called this message in at the precise moment your soul became ready to receive it. This is not content. This is a moment of divine intervention, and something in you already knows it. Like this transmission, to affirm to the universe that your heart is ready for divine love. Subscribe if you're on the twin flame path and aligning with sacred union. Comment 111 if you feel your heart awakening to divine truth right now. Share this with someone who needs to remember that the love they are waiting for has not forgotten them. This is not just a message, it is a turning point. Your soul has been waiting for this guidance, and the Reunion Guides are here to walk with you through it. Your heart knows why you are here. And that's the part no one tells you. They talk about love like it's something you find, like it's waiting around a corner, hidden in a coffee shop, or sitting across from you at a dinner you almost didn't go to. They talk about it like it's a destination you stumble into by accident, like the right swipe, or the right smile, or the right moment of eye contact across a crowded room is the mechanism by which the universe delivers its most sacred gift. That story, as comforting and cinematic as it sounds, was never your story. For a soul like yours, it was never about finding. It was always about becoming ready enough to receive what was already written. There is a profound difference between those two things. Finding implies that love is outside of you, separate from you, something you have to chase or locate or be lucky enough to encounter. But receiving implies that love is already in motion, already addressed to you, already on its way. And the only question that has ever mattered is whether you are standing at the door when it arrives, arms open, heart unguarded, truly ready to let something this sacred across the threshold of your life. What you've been feeling lately, that strange pull between longing and stillness, that quiet ache that lives just below your ribs, isn't emptiness. It isn't a sign that something is wrong with you, or that you've been forgotten, or that the version of love your soul has always known was possible is somehow reserved for other people. That feeling is not a wound. It is a signal. It's activation. It's your energetic field beginning to hum at a frequency it hasn't been able to sustain before now. Think of it like an instrument that has spent years being slowly tuned, string by string, vibration by vibration, and is only now reaching the precise pitch at which its most beautiful music can finally be heard. That is what is happening in you. That is what this season is. And the reason this moment in your life feels so critical, so weighted, so different from every other time love appeared on the horizon, is because it is. This isn't another wave you'll ride for a while before it deposits you back on the same familiar shore. This is the tide finally coming in, the kind of tide that doesn't recede, the kind that changes the entire shape of the coastline. But before it can arrive, before this love can find its rightful entry point into your life, something has to be understood. Not intellectually, not as an idea you nod at and bookmark for later, filed somewhere between the meditation you keep meaning to start and the journal you bought with every intention of filling. Something has to be felt all the way down, into the marrow of the story you've been carrying about what you deserve, about whether the universe actually knows your name, about whether love, as deep as you've always sensed was possible, is truly meant for someone like you. Because knowing something in your mind is only the beginning. The transformation that changes your energetic signal, the shift that actually moves the needle of your life, happens when knowing descends from the mind and becomes lived experience in the body. When it stops being a concept and becomes a cellular truth you no longer have to remind yourself of, because it simply is the foundation you stand on. Not every soul who hears this message is ready to act on it, but if your heart is beating differently right now, if something inside you whispered this is for me, then the next step has already chosen you. The Divine Love Frequency Code holds the complete activation sequence for sacred partnership, the wound clearing, the recognition map, the 11-minute practice that shifts your entire energetic field. You'll find it in the first pinned comment below, but only while this window remains open. Here's what most people never understand about why love hasn't arrived in the form their soul recognizes. It isn't because the universe has forgotten them. It isn't because they're broken or cursed or somehow fundamentally unworthy. It isn't because their window has closed or their chance has passed, or they made too many mistakes along the way to ever be welcomed into something truly sacred. It's because somewhere along the way, through heartbreak, to disappointment, through watching love collapse in the hands of people they trusted with the most tender parts of themselves, they built a wall that looked like wisdom. A wall made of self-sufficiency, of control, of I don't need anyone and I'm better on my own and maybe I'm just not built for that kind of love. And that wall doesn't announce itself. It doesn't come with a warning or a label or an obvious sign that says, this is where I stop trusting the world with my heart. It doesn't feel like armor. It feels like healing. It feels like growth. It feels like finally knowing your worth. Right up until the moment someone sacred tries to enter and finds the door locked from the inside. And this is the cruel irony of that particular wound, that the very protection you built from the ruins of past heartbreak becomes the thing that keeps your greatest love from reaching you. You cannot walk through a door that is bolted shut. Love cannot take up residence in a heart that has fortified itself so completely against loss that it has also fortified itself against arrival. The walls you built were understandable. They were necessary at the time. They kept you safe while you healed. But you are not in that season anymore, and the walls that once protected you are now the same walls that are holding you in a kind of beautiful, private, lonely solitude, where you are safe and whole and quietly aching for something you keep telling yourself you no longer need. This is the first thing that has to be understood with the full weight of your awareness. The wound isn't that you haven't been loved. The wound is that some part of you stopped believing you were safe to be fully seen, not admired, not needed, not desired from a distance, appreciated for your strength, or loved in that careful, arm's-length way that never quite reaches the deepest chambers of who you are, but truly, vulnerably, devastatingly seen. Seen in the parts of yourself that you've never shown anyone, seen in your contradictions, your fears, your quiet longings, your magnificent strangeness, seen in the way your laugh sounds when you forget to make it polished, and in the way your eyes look when something touches you so deeply that you don't have words for it yet. That depth of being seen. That is what you've always wanted. And that is precisely what some part of you decided after enough pain was not safe to want. That belief, that intimacy leads to loss, that being known leads to being left, that the price of being truly loved is the devastation of truly losing, is the invisible signal broadcasting from your field right now. And love, real love, the kind that exists at the frequency your soul came here to experience, cannot penetrate that signal. Not because it doesn't want to, but because frequency always seeks its match. The sacred union that's being drawn toward you in this season isn't coming to fix you. It isn't arriving to solve the equation of your loneliness or to complete a sentence that you haven't been able to finish on your own. It's coming to meet you at the level you've healed to. Which means the work right now isn't about attracting someone. It isn't about becoming more appealing or more magnetic or more deserving of love than you already are. It's about expanding your capacity to receive without flinching, to stay open when everything in you wants to protect, to let yourself be held without immediately calculating the cost, without waiting for the other shoe to drop, without scanning the horizon for the moment when this beautiful thing will inevitably be taken from you too. The practice of staying open is perhaps the most radical spiritual act available to a soul that has been hurt, and it is the act that changes everything. This is the first key, the unlock of worthiness. Not as a concept you've intellectually accepted, but as a truth your nervous system believes in its bones. Most souls on this path have done enough inner work to say, yes, I deserve love with their mind. They've journaled about it, meditated on it, had the therapy sessions and the healing circles and the conversations with friends who reflected their worth back to them with love and patience. But the body still braces. The heart still hesitates at the threshold. There is a microsecond, just as something real begins to approach, where something ancient and protective inside you contracts, where the nervous system sends its old familiar signal of danger, dressed up as caution, and that hesitation, that barely perceptible flinch, is the gap between almost and finally. It is the space where so many sacred connections have stalled, not because they weren't meant to be, but because the energetic door swung almost open and then, at the last moment, swung shut again. The moment you close that gap, the moment worthiness stops being something you're working toward and becomes something you're living from. The energetic signal you're broadcasting changes completely, not in a way anyone would notice from the outside. Your appearance doesn't change, your circumstances don't immediately rearrange themselves, but in a way that the universe notices immediately, in a way that shifts the entire invisible architecture of what you're calling into your life. When you stop seeking love from a place of, I hope I am enough, and begin standing in a place of, I know what I carry, and I know its value. That shift, that almost imperceptible internal reorientation, is what the universe has been waiting for. It is the green light at the intersection of everything you've been praying for. The second key unlocks something even more precise. It is the mirror recognition, the understanding that your divine counterpart is not coming to complete you, but to confirm you. There is a version of this love that many souls wait for with the wrong posture. They wait in lack. They wait with a hollow space inside them that they're hoping someone else will fill, as though another person's presence could patch the wound that only their own loving self-regard can actually heal. And the tragedy of that posture isn't that it's wrong, it's that it's understandable, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work not because you're flawed for feeling it, but because the soul you're being drawn toward is energetically calibrated to wholeness. They are not coming to be your rescue. They are coming to be your resonance. Their arrival is not triggered by your need. It's triggered by your readiness. By the moment you become so rooted in your own sacred worth, so genuinely complete within yourself, not because you've suppressed your longing, but because you've befriended, transformed it, metabolized it into something that deepens rather than depletes you. That the love you're calling in becomes an expansion rather than a rescue, a yes rather than a finally. This is where many hearts get confused. They mistake self-sufficiency for wholeness. They close off so completely, build the internal world so thoroughly, become so exquisitely self-contained that they're no longer waiting. They're hiding in plain sight. They've achieved a kind of spiritual solitude that looks and feels like arrival, but is actually its own form of avoidance. And that isn't the key either. The second key terms when you live in genuine wholeness that still leaves the door open. When you're full and soft and undefended. When your completeness is not a fortress but a garden. Beautiful and tended and rooted, with a gate that swings open, because you are no longer afraid of what walks through it. The third key is the one most souls resist the longest, because it requires releasing something they've been holding in both hands without realizing it. Something that has become so familiar it feels like part of their identity, even though it belongs to the past. It is the karmic release, the conscious dissolution of energetic contracts that were never meant to be permanent. Agreements made in the language of grief and longing that your energy inscribed onto the field of your life and then forgot to erase. Every relationship that has ended, every love that arrived and then left or changed or broke or gradually became something unrecognizable, left an imprint. Not just an emotional memory, but an energetic signature, a groove in the record of your field. And most people carry those imprints forward without examining them, allowing them to play the same song on repeat, wondering why the melody of their love life always seems to resolve in the same heartbreaking key. The story that love always leaves, that passion always fades, that vulnerability is just pain wearing a hopeful face, that the people who see you most clearly are the ones who hurt you the deepest. These are not truths. They are not laws of the universe or prophecies about your fate. They are contracts, old agreements between your energy and the universe that were written in the ink of your deepest wounds and need to be consciously, deliberately, lovingly rewritten now. Because you are not the same person who wrote those contracts. You have been through fire since then. You have done the work. You have sat in the dark and chosen to come back toward the light. And the contracts that were signed by a younger, more wounded version of you do not have to govern the life of the person you've become. This is not about forgetting. It's not about pretending those relationships didn't shape you or that the grief they produced wasn't real and legitimate and yours to carry for as long as you needed to. It's about recognizing that the shaping is complete, that you learned what you needed to learn, that the lesson has been absorbed so thoroughly that it has become part of the architecture of your wisdom, and you don't have to keep re-experiencing it just to prove you remember it. The moment you speak, even silently, even in the privacy of your own chest, even in a whisper so quiet only the universe can hear it. I release this contract. I dissolve this pattern. I am no longer bound to repeat what I've already survived. Something shifts in your field that no amount of time alone could have produced. A lock releases. A weight lifts. A door swings open that has been closed for years, and you become energetically available in a way you weren't before. Available not just to another person, but to the highest version of what love between two awakened souls can actually be. The fourth key asks something of you that modern culture has made almost impossible. In a world that equates speed with value, that celebrates the instant and the immediate, that has trained us to want what we want, the moment we realize we want it. This key asks for surrender to divine timing, not the resigned surrender of someone who has given up and is now performing patience because they've run out of alternatives. Not the bitter stillness of someone who has decided to stop caring because caring hurt too much, and at least numbness is survivable, but the deep-rooted, luminous surrender of someone who trusts, who understands at a cellular level that the universe is not withholding this love out of cruelty or indifference, but is perfecting the conditions under which it can be sustained. There is an enormous difference between love arriving too early and love arriving exactly on time. And though the waiting is real, and the longing is real, and the nights when you wonder if you've been forgotten are as real as anything you've ever felt, the timing is not arbitrary. The timing is architecture. Think of it this way. A seed planted in winter does not bloom on your schedule. You cannot will it into flowering by wanting it hard enough, or by digging it up to check its progress. The earth is doing something in the dark that the eye cannot see, preparing a root system strong enough to hold the weight of what will eventually bloom above the surface. And when the season shifts, when the conditions are finally perfect, the bloom doesn't ask permission. It simply opens. That is what is happening to you. The roots have been growing in the dark. The season is shifting. And the love that is coming is not being withheld from you. It is being protected for you, held in a kind of sacred reserve until the precise moment when what it requires to survive is what you have to offer. The version of you that would have received this connection a year ago, 3 years ago, in the middle of your darkest season. That version of you was real and worthy and deserving. But that version of you would not have been able to hold it. Not because you weren't enough then, but because the container wasn't strong enough yet. The roots weren't deep enough. The love would have come and it would have been real, genuinely, beautifully real, and it still would have crumbled under the weight of everything that hadn't yet been healed, because love doesn't fail because it isn't strong enough. Love sometimes fails because the ground it's planted in hasn't been prepared to hold it. This moment, this critical, weighted, different moment you're standing in right now is the universe saying the ground is ready. The long, private, sometimes grueling work you've done, and the silences that no one saw, and the moments of choosing not to repeat old patterns, even when repetition would have been easier, and the small daily acts of returning to yourself when everything in you wanted to abandon the process. That work has not disappeared. It has been accumulating, building, compounding, laying down a foundation so solid, so deep, so genuinely prepared for the weight of something real, that what is coming now can not only arrive, but stay. The fifth key is the one that changes everything from the outside. It is the key of magnetic embodiment, becoming the living, breathing, daily frequency of the love you're calling in. Not as a performance, not as a manifestation technique you execute with gritted teeth and forced gratitude, but as an orientation, a direction you face, a way of moving through the world that says, I am already in relationship with love, even before a particular person has arrived, because love is not a destination. It is a way of being. This doesn't mean performing joy. It doesn't mean pretending to feel things you don't feel or bypassing the real grief of having waited this long, the real weight of the nights that felt endless, the real tenderness of a heart that has stayed open through more than most people know. It means choosing consciously, repeatedly, sometimes painfully, to orient toward what you're calling in rather than toward what has been. Every morning that you wake up and feel the absence and choose to feel gratitude anyway. Gratitude for the body that woke, for the breath that came, for the day that arrived full of unrealized possibility. You are transmitting. Every evening you reach the end of a day alone and choose to honor the fullness of your own company instead of spiraling into lack. You are transmitting. Every time you see love around you, in someone else's hands, in the way two people look at each other across a room, and you choose to celebrate it instead of measuring yourself against it, you are recalibrating your signal. You are tuning your frequency with extraordinary precision to match the love that is already moving toward you from somewhere beyond what your eyes can see. The universe is always listening to what you broadcast, not just in words but in orientation. And when you choose to broadcast from fullness, even before fullness feels completely true, you collapse the distance between you and what is already written. The sixth key is perhaps the gentlest of all the keys, and yet it holds a wisdom that only arrives in the aftermath of real longing, a wisdom you cannot rush or manufacture. It is the key of separation wisdom, the understanding that the distance you have felt, the seasons of solitude, the times you sensed your counterpart nearby but couldn't find the bridge, the years of waking up to an empty space that was supposed to be filled by now, was not abandonment. It was not punishment. It was not evidence that you had done something wrong or that love had passed you by. It was preparation. It was the universe ensuring that when these two souls finally find one another, they find each other as people who have walked far enough into their own stories to be genuinely interesting to one another. People who have developed their gifts, deepened their roots, discovered what they actually believe and value and require, not in theory, but through the lived experience of having to rely on themselves first. The universe does not separate souls to punish them. It separates them to ensure that when they finally meet, they meet as whole people. People who know who they are. People who have looked into the darkest corners of themselves and didn't run. People who have sat with their own grief and their own joy and their own magnificent complexity long enough that they have something real to offer another person. Not just need dressed up as love, not just loneliness looking for somewhere warm to land, but genuine, seasoned, hard-won presence. The kind of person who can sit with another soul in their darkness without flinching because they have sat with their own. If you have been in separation from a person, from love itself, from the part of yourself that used to believe in all of this before the years and the heartbreaks wore that belief down to something thin and fragile, know this and let it land all the way. The distance was not wasted. Not a single day of it was wasted. Every morning you got up and kept going was sacred. Every night you made it through alone was not a testament to your failure to attract love. It was proof of a strength, a depth, a rootedness that your divine union will one day depend on. You were not abandoned in that space. You were forged there. And what has been forged in you is something that cannot be manufactured quickly. Something that took exactly as long as it took, and is now exactly as strong as this love requires its foundation to be. And the seventh key, the final lock, is the most intimate of all. Because it doesn't open from the outside. No amount of ritual, no amount of practice, no affirmation or activation or alignment technique can turn it from the outside. It opens only from the inside. It is the key of reunion readiness, and it turns in the quietest moment, not in the ceremony or a revelation, but in an ordinary instant when you are simply being yourself, completely and without apology, and you realize with the full clarity of your whole being that you are not waiting for love to make you feel something. You are love, already feeling everything, already open, already whole, already aligned with everything the universe has ever intended for you. And in that moment, that still, simple, devastating moment of recognition, the universe can no longer find a reason to delay what has always been written for your life. Here is the truth that sits at the center of all of this. The truth that every key has been turning toward. The truth that every word in this message has been building to. You did not stumble onto this message. You did not find this by accident, scrolling past it in a moment of boredom or distraction or mild curiosity. This message found you at this specific moment, in this specific season, at this precise intersection of your readiness and the universe's perfect orchestration, because your soul sent a signal that it was finally ready to hear this, because something in you had reached the altitude at which these words could finally land. And the fact that you're still here, still listening, still letting this in, is not coincidence. It is confirmation. The loneliness you've carried was never a sign that love had forgotten you. It was the necessary silence before the sound of something real. The kind of silence that a concert hall must hold before the first note of a symphony can be truly heard. Not emptiness, but preparation. The heartbreaks you've survived were not failures. They were not evidence of your unworthiness, or proof that the love you've always sensed was possible was somehow not meant for someone like you. They were the universe dismantling, piece by piece, everything that was not your sacred alignment. Every relationship that ended was the universe saying, not this one. Not because you weren't lovable, but because you were too lovable to settle for something that could not hold the full weight of everything you are. And so it was cleared. And so the path was made. And so the signal has been purified to the point where what is coming now can find you without obstruction. You are not unlovable. You are not too much, too intense, too deep, too sensitive, too scarred, too complicated for a love that is actually worthy of you. You are not too little, too ordinary, too flawed, too late in the game, too far from the person you always thought you'd be by now. You are precisely the soul that this love has been patiently becoming worthy of. And right now, in this critical, irreversible, sacred turn in your story, the frequency is shifting. The signal is clearing. The field is opening. And the door that has been locked from the inside for longer than you perhaps realize, is beginning to unlock. Tonight, before you sleep, place one hand over your heart, not as a ritual, not as a performance, not because someone told you to and you're willing to try anything at this point, just as a gesture of honesty between you and the part of you that has never stopped believing, the part that has stayed soft inside even when everything around it hardened, the part that has kept the light on even on the nights when keeping it on felt like the bravest and most exhausting thing you'd ever done. Place your hand over your heart and feel it beating. Feel the miracle of that. Feel the fact that this body, this heart, this life has carried you through everything it's carried you through. And it is still here, still open, still capable of receiving something extraordinary. And say quietly, just to yourself, in whatever form feels true, I am ready now. Not someday. Not when I've healed more, or done more, or become more. Now. Exactly as I am, standing exactly where I stand. I am the love I have been calling in. And I trust, truly, deeply, without reservation, the timing of everything I cannot yet see. Before you scroll, take a moment to be part of what's forming here. Drop one intention in the comments. Something real from your heart journey. Then respond to someone else's with encouragement or love. This isn't content, it's collective healing. Love multiplies when hearts connect. If something in this message resonated, don't keep it to yourself. Someone in your life is waiting for this exact activation. Share it. And if you felt a soul nudge, subscribe. Stay in the flow of divine love guidance. You're not just watching, you're healing. This is your sacred space. And we're just getting started.